I had the privilege of meeting Danielle and the Hankey family in the summer of 2019, following her diagnosis of Ewing sarcoma as a sophomore in high school. As you can imagine, the diagnosis was devastating for this active athlete. Danielle endured several significant surgeries as she finished high school. I then caught up with Danielle and the Hankey family again in the summer of 2021 when they graciously opened up their home to CCF for an interview. It was that summer that she was planning to leave for college, the University of South Carolina, where she just completed her sophomore year, and amazingly enough is going to graduate a year early in May of 2024. I'm going to say. Most of Danielle's treatment took place at Children's Hospital under the care of Doctors Meany and Tidings. The Hankey family always by her side, Mom, Wendy, Dad, Kurt, and siblings Stephen and Allison. I'm thrilled that Wendy is here today to join us. Danielle's scans continue to be clear. She is interning this summer at NCI and is in very good company today. A lot of colleagues here. So with no further ado, I am honored to introduce you to one of our amazing heroes, Danielle Hankey and her mom, Wendy.
Thank you, Tasha, for giving us this opportunity to talk today.
This is me on the first day of school, my sophomore year of high school. I was playing on the field hockey team and the swim team. Little did I know that in 6 months, my whole life was about to change. This is me 6 months later after I found out that I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma and began chemotherapy.
On February 16, 2019, I took Danielle to Children's National Medical Center, where she was diagnosed with probable cancer. She presented with acute elbow pain with the inability to fully extend or flex her arm. She had a biopsy 2 days later, then we went home, waited about 2 weeks, where we finally got the diagnosis of Ewing sarcoma.
I started on chemotherapy immediately and began to lose my hair after the first round. But with this in mind, I kept a positive attitude and was able to meet amazing nurses and have my family around me.
I remember when Danielle's hair started to fall out, my husband and I were in the kitchen, and we heard Danielle screaming from upstairs, calling my name. I ran into the bathroom and saw her in the shower with clumps of hair in her hands. She looked at me, I looked at her, and we both just cried. I turned to her and I said, we are in it to win it, we're in it together, we're in together to the end. I don't see where I am. Danielle had inpatient chemo every other week. She was inpatient for 3 days 1 week, then she'd have a week off, and then 5 days the next week. She would get sick in between each chemo round, and we would end up back in the hospital. It really felt like we were living at the hospital.
This picture shows me, my mom, my aunt, and 3 of my favorite nurses wearing Danielle Strong shirts that a friend of mine had created to help raise money for my treatment. This was in the middle of my treatment after I had a 12-hour-long surgery at Johns Hopkins. My tumor was removed from my arm and a cadaver bone was placed in my ulna. I went through 14 rounds of chemotherapy, 1 month of photon radiation, and a 12-hour-long surgery before I was deemed cancer-free for the first time.
Having such amazing nurses and family visit during her long chemo sessions really helped Danielle keep a positive attitude. My sister came every weekend to stay with us when we were there for the long chemo treatments. My husband and her siblings, Stephen and Allison, came as often as possible. It was really difficult for the whole family. Stephen and Allison had just entered their senior year of high school, and had a lot going on. Danielle never wanted me to leave her room, so I pretty much lived there at the hospital with her. I can only remember 2 times leaving her room. My father came once when it was the twins' prom. So I ran home and took pictures and ran right back. And another time I left at 3 a.m. to take my son to his college orientation. Drove he and my husband to Pennsylvania, dropped them back off in Frederick, and ran right back down to the hospital.
After my treatment finished, COVID hit and I was under lockdown. During the summer of 2020, I was able to complete lifeguard training and become a lifeguard for the summer. I was also able to finally get my driver's license. When my senior year of high school started, I was able to play field hockey with my team and I was doing school online. I finally felt like a normal teenager. Then, in December of 2020, after my 9-month scans, my oncologist told me that they found something on my lung. I was heartbroken. I had to cut down on my classes for my second semester of my senior year, and I was not able to do hybrid schooling. I had a thoracotomy so that they could make sure the mass in my lung was a metastasis. Once we had the results, I started chemotherapy again right away. The whole second half of my senior year and the summer leading up to college, I had 6 rounds of chemotherapy and 2 weeks of whole lung radiation. I finally got my port removed in August of 2021, then moved into my dorm at the University of South Carolina 3 days later.
We were all heartbroken when we found out that Danielle's cancer had returned. Danielle did everything she could to make her life normal. In fact, she played field hockey, still accessed in the evening after a day of chemo, and went right back the next day for chemo. We figured out how to get everything done so she could attend her first semester of college. Danielle even attended her college orientation while getting chemo, with me nudging her awake a couple times. We definitely cut it close, but she was able to attend her first semester of college. I think it was actually 2 days after getting your report out.
I started my freshman year as a biology major with big dreams of becoming a doctor. I was able to join clubs, attend football games, and make new friends in a brand new place away from home. I managed to finish my freshman year with a 4.0 GPA. This collage shows how my life is going now. The first picture shows me and my sister Allison at my Make-A-Wish to Disney World after 4 years of waiting for my wish to be granted. We were able to go to all of the Disney parks and Universal and had the best time at the Give Kids the World Village. The second picture shows me and a Washington Capitals player, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, at a special event where childhood cancer patients were able to skate with all of the players of the Washington Capitals. I was specially paired with Trevor to skate with, and it was one of the best days of my life because I have been a lifelong Capitals fan. The third picture shows me, my sister, my brother, and my sister-in-law when they drove me all the way to Ohio to take me to Cedar Point, which is an amusement park that I've always wanted to go to. The fourth picture shows me when I was on the board of Hillel my freshman year of college, which is a Jewish organization that gave me a home away from home at school. The fifth picture shows me and my friends that I made in another club that I joined on campus called Dance Marathon. In Dance Marathon, we raise money for the Child Life program at our local children's hospital. My school is one of the top fundraising schools in the United States for Dance Marathon, and this past year we raised $788,645 for the kids. The sixth picture shows me and the people who I work with in a lab at my school. I was able to join a research lab at my school, which is where I found my love for lab science. I have now changed my route from becoming a doctor to getting my PhD in cancer biology and becoming a cancer researcher. The seventh picture shows me and my new nephew, Luca, who is 2 months old and I absolutely adore. I am also happy to announce that I just started my summer internship at the National Cancer Institute, where I am working in a lab on a cancer therapy.
Danielle just finished her second year at University of South Carolina and is continuing to excel academically. She'll be entering her third and final year and will graduate with an undergraduate degree in biology. We could not be prouder of her and all her accomplishments.
So Danielle and Wendy have graciously agreed to take a couple questions. If you guys have them, I encourage you to ask questions and be part of this as a discussion. It's a weird room, it's kind of long, and it's a lot of people, but it's a community, and you should feel free to ask questions even if you don't think they're good questions. So anybody have any questions, raise your hand and the microphone will come around. Over here.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. My name's Andrea. I'm a pediatric oncologist, and it's just wonderful to hear. I think I would ask if you could go back to that very beginning of your journey. Is there something that you would want to tell your doctors? Is there some piece of advice you would give to your doctors or to anyone else to say, like, what would have made things easier for you?
I would say to make sure not to be so overwhelming with everything and not use the word cancer and be just more compassionate about what the children are going through, because even though I was 15 when I was diagnosed, it was still a lot to take in at the time because it all happened so fast.
So what do you look forward to doing this summer? What do you want your mentors to make sure you walk away from the summer learning?
I look forward to learning just more about the new types of cancer therapies that they're working on right now and being able to expand my knowledge and make sure that this is something that I really want to do with my life in the future.
Well, no pressure, but I'm excited to know that somebody who has such an investment will have potentially a role in helping things move forward as part of a team. So it's really, really wonderful that you want to do that. And I thank you for sharing your story today. And hopefully it inspires people here to do that much more and even have you on the team to do that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think there was another gentleman that had a question.
I'm sorry, I missed the extra question. Sorry, guys, let's go over here.
We waited until you turned your back, Jeff, and then we raised our hands. So tell me about the change to being interested in laboratory science, and how do you think your experience is going to influence your work, and how do you think you can influence those around you?
So I really wanted to make a difference, and when I started working in the lab at my school, I realized I really enjoyed it. And I'm more of a introverted person, so I think that working in a lab would be better for me than patient care. And I think that having gone through the things that I have gone through, I can inspire the people around me to really care more about their research, because they can see that there's actually people around them who have gone through it and have seen what it can do to other people.
Thank you. Danielle, I hope this isn't a hard question, but I wonder what you're going to study in 5 or 10 years. What are you going to discover?
Well, I'm hoping to discover a cure for the sarcomas, but
I have a question for Wendy.
Yes.
I often find that when you have a child with cancer and you have siblings at home, it can often be a difficult balancing act. Could you offer some advice that we could give to parents on how to manage that difficulty?
Oh gosh, it was really hard. I can say that I was completely honest with all my kids. I never sugarcoated it, but I mean, I wasn't blunt, but I didn't sugarcoat. So I said to the twins, look, your sister has cancer. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. I need to be there for her. We need to fight together. There was some jealousy. I'm not going to say there wasn't. Not so much with her brother, but with her sister. Maybe it's a girl thing, you know, 2 girls. But I think that they understood that I needed to be there, and I did make myself available to them for their important moments too. So I made sure that I was there for them when they needed me. I hope that answers your question.
Any other questions while I'm steering this one?